And I was so shocked. I felt sometimes even more overwhelmed and burnt out because there was no off. At the hospital at 12, after your 12-hour shift, at least you go home and you clock out. But for someone like me who's constantly ruminating sometimes, there was no turn off. So I realized regardless of both spaces, people in these areas, especially people in the healthcare field, were not pouring into ourselves.
This space, From Hero to Human, is about rehumanizing care. Let us sit with this moment.
I know.
The emotion is powerful.
When nurses are supported, the patients are taken care of, they heal faster, the systems, they run smoother, economies thrive. So giving that space for them to be well and investing in their well-being is not just good for healthcare. It's good for the business, it's good for them, it's good for the community. Hi everyone, and welcome to From Hero to Human. This platform is bold, it's authentic, and it's real. Nothing we do here is staged. We come with our true selves and we talk about important matters. Burnout, stress, mental health, the nursing profession, to be specific today. And I'm very excited that we have an amazing guest. Her name is Sarah. And I'm so excited too because I haven't seen my soul sister, Magdalena, for a while. So being here today is just going to make it even more powerful. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Super exciting episode again today, right? So, let me introduce Sarah. Sarah is a soft life strategist who helps burnt-out professionals reclaim their natural flow. She's in hospital with her nursing students by day, while salsa dancing and decoding clients' astrology charts by night. Sarah created the Harmony Method after discovering that success feels different when you work with, not against your energy. She believes that curiosity is a superpower, and your unique integration is the key to thriving. Oh my God, Sarah. Curiosity, number one skill for me. And Nina and myself, we talk about curiosity. We practice curiosity. Yeah. We embody curiosity.
Yeah, I agree.
Please, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here, honestly. And clearly your podcast is evidence that you embody and practice curiosity and, reaching out to so many people, having that interaction with them. So I'm excited to be one of those people.
Today, we are curious about you.
Oh, yay.
Tell us how you arrived in this beautiful space when you now empower the caregivers to empower themselves.
Okay, so just like both of you, I'm a nurse. I've nursed for about 14 years, and nursing is such a beautiful profession. It feels very aligned to who I am as a person, just that spirit of holding space and nurturing. But I've realized over time that we often don't nurture ourselves, and witnessing how I was in that space and then people around me were in that space, I realized how few moments in the day were spent reflecting on what we need to do to sustain this motion that we're constantly on. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to move from nursing at the bedside to education. Like, the pace will be much slower. It'll be so different. It's more admin work. Like, they don't do as much. And I was so shocked. I felt sometimes even more overwhelmed and burnt out because there was no off. At the hospital at 12, after your 12-hour shift, at least you go home and you clock out. But for someone like me who's constantly ruminating sometimes, there was no turn off. So I realized regardless of both spaces, people in these areas, especially people in the healthcare field, were not pouring into ourselves. Mm-hmm.
Sarah, I love what you just said about taking care of the people, but forgetting about the self. And I think it resonates strongly because as nurses, we have that ability to pour oceans into the people that we care about, and we forget that our cup gets empty and there's nobody there to support. And I love that people like you are in the world, and I'm grateful so much for people like you, because you bring so much revolutionized ideas into the importance of well-being for nurses. Having said that, what's the number one tip when it comes to taking care of yourself as a nurse?
I would say, just we spoke about curiosity, so that authentic reflection, taking the time, and that's part of my Harmony framework, so I'm going to plug that. Yeah. But taking the time to actually step back to reflect on where you are, and that includes the self-awareness, because when you slow down enough and be like, and start thinking, okay, I don't feel great. I don't love where I am, or maybe I love this part, but I don't love this part. What do I need to do to be more aligned? What do I need to do to feel more like myself, or the version of myself that I know I can be? So I would say the number one tip is slow down and think about where you are and where you'd like to be. Have that honest reflection time with yourself, and that will build a level of self-awareness that you might be surprised by. Yeah.
It's a beautiful answer, I feel this conversation is getting emotional, I sense the vibration. We've been having a lot of conversations about mental health for caregivers this month, because it's the nurses week. This month is the coaching week, so all the beautiful disciplines, all the beautiful vocations that are out there that are pouring, Nina, you beautifully said it, oceans. I feel it when you said it. This space from hero to human is about rehumanizing care.
Yeah.
Let us sit with this for a moment.
I know.
The emotion is powerful. Heavy?
It's palpable, yeah.
It's palpable.
Yeah.
I feel it in my whole body. So how do we move from hero to human in the caregiving space? You have mentioned curiosity. This is where we start. There needs to be a starting point. You mentioned the pause, and now the pausing is a leadership super skill, caregivers super skill. However, how do we pause in an environment that is running at a crazy pace? And I don't only talk here about hospitals. We are here in Dubai and in the UAE.
Yeah.
The pace of life is insane.
It's very fast.
Accelerate even more.
I agree.
Where do we start?
I agree. So, in my opinion, I feel that the pause guides you in a direction. But I think people who start with micro moments and let those habits build on each other, that's the gateway to success. I'm not here to tell people to sign up for a program or do this, and in 2 weeks you're going to get great success. Real change is sustainable micro moments over time. So 5, 10, 15 minutes that you give to yourself, that you can take away from work, that you can just pour into who you are ready to be, will amplify that alignment, that vibration over time, rather than trying to make those swift changes. And I feel like it's so easy to fall into that space where you're like, okay, I need change now. I'm going to do this. I'm going to quit my job. And then I have to tell myself sometimes too, okay, relax. You'll be fine. Just take a deep breath. What do you want? Where do you want to go? And what can I do right now for 5 minutes today to make that small shift?
I love how you talked about habits and the small shifts and the importance of listening to your body and letting your body guide you in terms of, am I okay? Can I ask for help? Because many times I've seen it that we as healthcare providers fail to do that. And we embody the hero narrative so much so that we can do it all, and we cultivate a toxic resilience where she's a nurse, she's tough, she handles it. But how long can you handle that? It's not there. Yeah. And we know that the stress and burnout increases because of that. And I love that you have a framework called Harmony. And I think it's very inspirational.
Thank you.
And I want to hear all about it. What brought it up and what is it?
So I believe I might have mentioned to both of you about this story in the past, but I remember we attended a speech of yours, Magda, and you shared a beautiful framework. And then you also shared a beautiful framework. And I went home that evening and started reflecting on how would I want to show up and what elements of life do I believe will help me create harmony, balance, a softer life for myself. And I just want to plug soft. When I say soft, it doesn't mean weak or not, achieving your goals or living off somebody. I think there's like a notion of like, oh, a soft life, I'm going to go live on a yacht with a millionaire. But by soft, I mean just a life that you genuinely love. And so my harmony framework is H. It starts with health assessment. And I brought this in really because of the population nurses, healthcare. We are in that healthcare environment, but we often don't go to our doctor's appointments. We don't check in. Like, we might feel off, but we keep going. So what's my health like? Am I eating? Have I had enough water? Oftentimes dehydration is enough to throw you off completely, right? Then we go to A, which is the authentic reflection, as I mentioned. So just honest conversations with yourself. You can journal, you can voice note yourself, you could talk to your friend, R is rest and recovery. I am very aggressively pushing for people to rest, which is ironic, but here we are. Just taking the time to slow down. Rest can look different for everybody. For some people, it's sitting on a couch, reading a book. For other people, it's going for a walk in nature, finding what works for you. And recovery is, for me, I love the ice baths and the yoga, the restorative practices. HARM, mindful moments or mindful practices. And I don't think it has to be a huge routine. And I think I'm guilty of that in the past. I would do an hour of meditation and then 30 minutes of journaling. And I had 2 hours of stuff I had to do before I started my day. Just the micro moments now. Simplicity, O is openness. So just being open to explore and try new things. I think sometimes when we do get stuck, we get so afraid to try new things that we pigeonhole ourselves. Maybe you are uncomfortable, and maybe the little key turn moment is that you went to that salsa class, or you went to that networking event, or you did this and you met somebody who changed your perspective on something, right? Nurture is N, nurturing your connections. So meeting beautiful people like you and continuing to build. And Y is just unique integration. So it's not for what works for you is not going to work for me. It's not going to work for you. So applying it for yourself, there's no one size fit all. And that's why I love human design and astrology, because there is a framework that will work for you. And it's for you to discover it with your curiosity and your willingness to be open to everything. So I'm sorry, it's a long framework, but there we are.
You've described it beautifully, and it's another golden nugget here in this space for people to perhaps reflect on, perhaps try it. And if it's working for them, then do share it with others. This is how we create a positive change here in our environment. So, we now know curiosity, awareness, and magic formulas. We know that our brain likes formulas.
Yeah.
So we have all created step-by-step approach. And in current reality, when there is so much overwhelm, people are looking for easy, quick fix solution. Okay, let us give that quick fix solution. Still, there is a narrative. I think it's the hero narrative that is almost stopping the caregivers from asking for help. They just need that permission,
Right.
to start that revolution and start moving from the hero to the wellness warrior. Where I'm going with this, I really want to see stories like your own. People who promote not the living toxic environments, okay, the burnout stories. Oh my God, there is suffering. Yeah, I need to leave my job today. I want to say a story. Okay, I came to this point when I'm not happy about what is happening. I have used my curiosity. I have studied a little bit more. I got inspired by people around me and I took an action.
Yeah.
How can we get that permission or give that permission to ourselves as caregivers to really move forward?
That's a good question. I would say that introducing spaces like this to caregivers is really important. I did start an initiative at one point where I was just going to different hospitals and clinics. You know, I'm very random. I would just walk in and say like, "Hi, my name is Sarah. Can I speak to any members of your staff today?" And I would talk to doctors or nurses and just ask them how they're doing. And it opened up so many honest conversations. And I think we often think we need the big glamorous workshops and all these things to get started or to spark interest in change. But when you present an option that doesn't make people feel obligated to buy something or to, you know, subscribe for a long period of time, or that they have to put a lot of effort in just to share, it creates an openness that allows them to consider the options. So I would just go up to people and ask them how they're doing. You know, how's your day going? You know, have you been dealing with anything? And I was surprised how many people would open up, especially men, to be honest. I was surprised how many men were open to sharing how they're feeling when they felt that I was genuinely asking, not just trying to maneuver. So I would say that in the long, to cut it short, I would say having more opportunities to just connect, but not create an intention to not have it be complaining. Because I think that's something we fall into as caregivers. Oh, this place is terrible. I hate this. I hate that. Yeah, we get it. But create spaces where the norm is showing up to brainstorm, to be of value and of service to others and inquire about people. So I think that would be the best option. Low stakes, just easy, show up if you want to share, and maybe someone will be there and you'll make a connection that could change your life. Yeah.
Amazing.
I love how you describe that, and I love that boldness of going to people and really genuinely showing the care that you wanted to know more about them. And this brings us to remember something. The International Council of Nurses this year reminds the world of a very powerful truth, that caring for nurses strengthens economies. And this is the theme that they had for International Nurses Day. And we're in May, and we are all nurses, and we're celebrating this amazing virtue for us. And it's real, because when nurses are supported, the patients are taken care of, they heal faster, the systems, they run smoother, and your economies thrive. And so giving that space for them to be well and investing in their well-being is not just good for healthcare. It's good for the business, it's good for them, it's good for the communities. It expands bigger than we can even imagine. Sarah, what are the challenges that we see when it comes to nurses' well-being in the workplace or outside?
Okay, I have two ways to look at this, and I was reflecting on this the other day because of a post I made, and the responses were very interesting. So I feel a lot of us believe that work has to be responsible for our work-life balance. But they do owe us, or good workplaces will consider the ROI, the return on investment, but they will still always side on, they will care, but they will, at the end of the day, they will still focus on the finances. Workplaces that are not so great will still just not care, right? So ultimately, I think one mindset shift we have to make in these spaces is come to the knowing and the realization that work-life balance, yes, we want workplaces that value it, like maybe Google and all these places that put so much emphasis, but it's honestly our responsibility. So you could be in a workplace that is not ideal, but you can navigate it from a different mindset and perspective and implementation of how you show up that changes how you feel in the environment. So I would say that is the biggest shift. I can't tell you that we'll put in policies that will make sure that nurses have more staff on the floor, the ratios will be better, blah, blah, blah. Like, I can't control that. But all I can control is we can start working on how you sleep, how you eat, who you talk to, the type of energy you're taking in around you. That affects your work-life balance. So I think that would be the way I would approach it is, I know it's not great. We can't change that right now, and we're moving to spaces where hopefully that will be. If enough of us get together and keep sharing, it will be mandatory. But until then, we can't stay where we are and complain about the infrastructure not giving in to us. We need to pour into ourselves, and that energy will allow us to, radiate and paint a different picture. And I know that sounds like, I am an idealist, but at the same time, it's true. Like, even for me, I've had to apply that myself. I've had to change how I perceive things. I have to set boundaries. No doing this after this time, saying no. And that was very difficult for me. Proposals coming up. No, I will not do that. Mm-hmm. For me, that was very hard, but it's changed how I show up at work and the time I have. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Thank you for mentioning the shared responsibility. It's not that my employer is responsible for my well-being and happiness. It's a shared responsibility.
Agreed.
This is perhaps the mindset shift that is going to help you, even if you are stuck in a place that you don't want to be. Mm-hmm. Okay? There are things that you can do for yourselves to see the situation as a temporary. Okay, I'm working on myself. I'm doing something to perhaps change this environment, and not to put yourself in a box and say this is toxic. You've mentioned in the previous question that you were answering, I was listening, how careful you are when you use your words. Our words create our words. So if we keep repeating to ourselves, I am stressed, I am busy, I'm going to be running in that narrative. I've been there. Yeah. I've led teams that were in constant chronic stress narrative. The superhero running, doesn't matter, the patient is sick or not sick, they are just running. It was, for me, it was painful to watch. And at some point, thank God, it became to that point that I said, no, there is a different way. Let me ask them a question. Why are you running? Simple. Is there an emergency? Okay, I'm curious.
Yeah.
You from the point of curiosity. Yeah. I was able to instill this curiosity on them. Yeah. No, I'm just running to get a syringe or whatever. Okay. It creates a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Not only I am observing this, our patients are observing this, and you yourself being in that energy, how do you feel?
That. Oh my gosh, you've just...
Yeah. This is the pause that needs to happen for us to realize that there are different ways of not only doing, but also being. Yeah. We are the human beings, not human doing. Here is the space where we really shift that narrative, and we keep bringing experts, caregivers, healers from different walks of lives with different expertise, people who come from various cultural, religious, societal backgrounds, just to share the very same message. Slow down, you are doing fine. And when you are in that calm pace, your patient is going to feel it.
Oh, yep. Definitely.
I had so many patients. Again, I'm going to be going in this reflection because when I'm describing this, I'm actually in that unit, on that high floor, in that hospital, still reliving that situation.
I feel it too.
My patients coming to me and saying, hey, manager, your nurses haven't been on break. It's already 12 or 1 p.m. and they're still on the floor. Okay? So shared responsibility. Yes, your employer has a responsibility to take care of you. At the same time, You have a responsibility to take care of you.
And just to add to that, though, especially because you just shared that story, I want to be clear that it is a shared responsibility, but I understand that sometimes when your nervous system is so inundated by, yes, overwhelmed, we don't feel like we have the agency to take control, right? So it is that mix, and that's why these conversations are so necessary. And I remember working with one nurse in particular, same thing. She's like, I'm trying, but I can't. And I'm like, I understand. And that's why I love somatic therapy type of work. Body, mind work, where you start with the body, you start slowing down using the body, yoga, tapping, EMDR, whatever it is, use your body first, and then you can calm the mind, breath work, whatever. But I think those are the little integrations that people can start with if you feel like you can't slow down because your nervous system is just so overwhelmed and exhausted, and that's become your baseline. So I get it. I've been there, and I still go there sometimes, and I have to calm myself down. But that's just that one little addition I wanted to make. Yeah.
Thank you. Wow, this conversation is just getting better and better, and my head is like, boo boo. We nurses are, I don't want to say we are sent from heaven, because people will think that this angel, I don't like this angel, but truly we have some characteristics and qualities, I think, very similar to all of us, that we care really deeply, and the care that we have makes us go further than we can sometimes, and affects the way we show up for ourselves. And it's important for us to understand that we are human beings. We need to take care of ourselves. And we need spaces that helps us to vent out. Like, one of the things that I used to suffer from is that I had no one to go to as a nurse to cry and say, listen, I'm exhausted. I'm burning out. Help, please. It's really toxic. You reach a level where you can go to your RN, your friend, because she's maybe more tired than you are, right? And then your manager expects you to just go. It has to be done. 5 patients, 7, 10 patients, doesn't matter, as long as you keep going, and then you burn out. And that's when I realized that if I continue to do this, I will not really purposefully do what I am meant to do. So yes, I said no. I took that boundaries, and it taught me that I think in this way, what we then need to do is to change the society around us, the nurses around us, to actually help them to see and recognize when a nurse is not okay. Not just a nurse, even a doctor, when a doctor is not okay. It's okay. We're all human beings. As you said, you go to the clinic, you ask about the people, how they're doing, and so on. And this brings so much realization that we can build stronger, more sustainable, more nurturing communities. And we will be able to continue our journey as nurses, as this beautiful nursing profession, which, to be honest, the world cannot live without. Absolutely. Sarah, I want to know, what world are you trying to create, and what legacy do you want to leave behind?
Okay, no pressure. I want to create a world that allows people to show up authentically. So if that means in this moment it's sad, overwhelmed, that's okay. If it's happy, overjoyed, excited, that's great. But a space where people know that it's okay to show up as they are, and know that regardless of what state they're in, they can regulate themselves. Because I think when you are able to be clear on how you feel and know what to do about it, you can navigate difficult situations with a sense of peace, knowing that it will be okay. What happens is when we're so overwhelmed and we don't know what's going on and we don't see a solution in sight, it just feels like it's going on forever and we can't grasp anything tangible to hold on to. So I would just like to create a world where people, have the skills to acknowledge that something's off, be honest about it, know how to do it based on whatever works for them through trial and error, being open to what might work, and then be able to share, you know? So I think it's like a cycle. Like you've been through it, I've been through it, and we've been able to share our little learnings and it's been of value, right? So I guess that's the kind of world I'd like to create. And in terms of legacy, I would just like to create a legacy, like I said, where people just feel comfortable. Life is going to keep going. It's never going to be ease, but the ability to create and look back and say, oh, Sarah was able to help me learn how to be the better version of myself. She didn't teach me. She just helped guide me through it and gave me resources. And that to me means the world. And that's what I would love to leave behind. Yeah.
It's a beautiful world and a beautiful legacy.
Thank you.
And I learned recently that legacy is what we do now. It's 5 years time. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Now, so every single choice that you make today, that's your legacy in the future.
Wow. Oh, I have goosebumps. That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's a good one. So, I hear you talking about my favorite topic, human skills, emotional intelligence, emotional literacy, how we regulate our states, whether we are feeling happy or whether we are feeling angry, because anger is a normal human emotion.
Yep.
However, we live in the world that still pathologizes the negative emotions.
Yeah.
So when you're saying we should just be human, right? Acknowledge that whatever we are feeling is human. And this is something that is kind of flowing to this conversation from the very beginning. There is a deficit in skills when it comes to leaders.
Yeah.
Leaders not having the capacity to have that conversation when someone is not okay. I call it a therapeutic conversation, and this is a concept I was introduced to by a very senior infection control nurse, Vijaya, many years back. When she explained to me this concept, I did not get it. I didn't get it. But it kept coming back to me. It kept coming back till one day, this is therapeutic communication. I don't need to be a nurse or a doctor. How do I hold the space for someone else who is not okay? I don't need to talk. How do I just sit with them in that painful moment, as you say, they're stressed? Something happened on a personal level. Maybe something happened with the patients and they're upset.
Yeah.
Because we feel for our patients. So this is the skill set that is missing. No one taught me this when I was doing my nurse training. No one taught me this during leadership training. Even recently during the MBA and any additional leadership courses, this is not mentioned. I have learned this through coaching education, studying psychology on a deep level, and most recently the Ubuntu coaching. And Ubuntu acknowledges our shared humanity.
I like
It
that.
teaches us how to accept and how to embrace the human in front of me. And in here comes the integration, as you said, body and mind. For the first time, I've learned that body doesn't lie.
Yep.
So when we are stressed, and majority of people have that misconception that stress is here. Stress is not in your head. When you're really feeling stress, sit down, connect with your body, and ask yourself, what is it? What am I feeling? Where does it sit?
Yeah.
Then the magic happens. Definitely you can start releasing, right? There is so many beautiful techniques how to connect with the body and how to release that tension. So I want to ask you for another golden tip. For a nurse who is on a long shift, something has happened. She is stressed. She comes to the staff room and she's sitting there by herself. Just talk us through the steps. What to do? I have few minutes. I want to reconnect.
Okay. That's a really good one. I feel like, once again, it comes down to knowing yourself, because some people journaling or sending themselves a voice note will help them process it and will relieve the tension. But some people are body-based, right? So in terms of body, if you only have 5-10 minutes, I always go to breathing, because your breath, as nurses, we know your breath regulates your can add or impact, I would say, your heart rate and all that. So going back to the basics and just slowing down enough to breathe in like a rhythmic way can lower your heart rate, can allow you to see where you might be holding tension in your shoulders, your back, if you're clenching. A lot of us actually walk around like this, you know? So having to breathe and loosen as you exhale can often release the small points and release tension, right? So there's that. There's a lot of acupressure points too that I find really helpful, like right between your index and your thumb. There's different pressures for headaches, for anxiety. So depending on what modalities you feel might work well for you, I would say breathing or acupressure, because there are things you can do with no other tools. You can use your body and you can see how you feel about them, how you respond to them when you do apply these practices. So those would be my go-to. Yeah.
You know, it's amazing that the more we come to learn about different modalities of caring for yourself, the more you become enlightened. And for me, this was never the option like before. And now I think breathing is my to-go tool. Honestly, it just drops everything. Your nervous system just calms down and it goes to the reignite and reboot. It's like a reboot. I even have it on my calendar, reboot pause, where
Love it.
This time is for me to actually just sit with myself and, you know, reflect what's going on and how can I come back with more power. And it's not something easy, by the way. It's habitual. And, you know, habits take time to actually want. And taking the small basic steps every day, just a little bit more different and learning more about it will help you to change. And once you change, it becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, you wake up with gratitude. Maybe you take a deep breath and then you're like, I'm going to have a great day today. Yeah. And no matter what, I'm going to just keep going.
Right. I agree. No, I love that. And I would say one other thing I might add, but I tend not to advertise this one unless you're working with a practitioner, is if you're really in a bind, is ETF, like tapping. But the caveat with that is sometimes if you're already overly anxious and you start tapping, you can amplify that energy. So it's a nice resource to have if you know how to use it properly, but I would never advocate for anybody to do it on their own, especially start with it without knowing how to calm themselves first. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. And it's really interesting, and we will keep highlighting in this space, there is no prescription.
Yeah.
Amartya shared me in here. Yes, it is science-based. There is research behind it. We know it works. But you need to find something that is aligned with you. Something that you enjoy doing. You don't do meditation, you know, deep breathing, ice bath, after that because there is a trend or because your friend is doing it. If it doesn't feel right, don't
do it. Yeah.
Find something that, you know, works. And if something is working for you, you know, you found maybe some unusual technique, share it with others. Yeah. Because this is how we inspire each other. This is how we show others that this is how I take care of myself. This is how I improved my well-being. I am thriving, so I want to share it with the world. Brilliant. So now I have a super interesting question. Actually, I would like to answer it myself. So if we were to redesign nursing education from scratch, what would we put in the first semester to prepare the caregivers to make sure that we give them the best possible chance to thrive and not just survive?
Wow. This is great. I love this. So right off the bat, a few things we've already spoken about would definitely be that self-awareness. be able to understand, okay, where am I now? And this is my baseline. And if anything deviates from that, I have the ability to recognize. Regulation, okay? Know how to or what to do once I've realized that I'm up or down. And the other thing I would say is human skills, soft skills, you know? So conflict resolution, not cultural intelligence, cultural competency, but cultural intelligence. Because working in the UAE, especially being a manager of a unit, I know that, and this is going to open up a whole bag of worms, but that is probably one of the most frustrating but beautiful things about being here is that you're working with people from everywhere. So having that cultural intelligence to be able to say like, okay, I hate to use nationality, but like I'm Canadian or I'm German or I'm from Lebanon and the way I communicate is like this, but people might not receive what I'm saying the same way I would receive it. And having that collective understanding in a team that we all perceive and express differently, and how can we work together to improve that? So I think that should be key in nursing education from the get-go. If we understand this, that we know who we are, we know how to deal with things when they don't work out, we know that everybody's going to be different and we can navigate it differently. I feel like that's just a whole different species of nursing students, you know? I don't know. I don't know what you guys would think.
Love it. You know, everything that you've described, I'll give it a title.
Okay.
Anatomy of a Nurse. But the title of the curriculum, and it's all about the human of the nurse, the
I love it.
mental health, the well-being, the skills, the energies.
I love that.
How do you present yourself, and how do you actually impact the world as So we just created a
thing. My goodness.
magic philosophy.
Wow.
That was pretty.
Question, because I'm really curious. So, you know, some of the skills and the knowledge that I empower healthcare leaders, nursing leaders with is the emotional intelligence. But what does it actually mean? We hear it all over the social media, you know, EQ versus IQ and all that jazz. So there are specific studies done in the world, and something that I've learned a few years back when I was still working in a director of nursing position in a private hospital in Kuwait. I have read a study called the Global Human Emotional Intelligence Study. I found out that we're in recessions, so the emotional intelligence levels are lowering since the pandemic. There is a reason for it. Different nationalities, different geographical locations are going to have different levels of emotional intelligence. And one day I received feedback from one of the patients, which they said these nurses from specific group don't show as much empathy, meaning they don't care. Okay. And just made a comment passing. Yeah. But these nurses from this group, these geographical locations, they do. That really hit me. And I really started thinking like, whoa, there is something in it. It's not that they don't care.
Right.
I know these individuals personally, they care as much as the other group, as much as I care. So let me understand what's happening, you know. Having this type of intelligence, cultural intelligence as a leader is a game changer. You know, it stops you from making judgment, from putting some kind of unrealistic expectations on your people. Instead, you go into the coaching code. You try to understand, you raise awareness, you help them understand. We don't tell people, be more empathetic. We show them how empathy looks.
Yes.
And we also show them how lack of empathy looks.
Right.
So this is my beautiful addition to the anatomy of a nurse.
Yes. Perfect.
Curriculum done.
Yeah. Check. So when are we working on this? Just saying.
Wow. It's beautiful. 3 nurses from different backgrounds, different experiences, different learnings, and having so much tips that our audience can use. And they can also cultivate what they want to cultivate and the frameworks that they can create to make it better and to feel worthy of being a nurse.
Right.
I think that's the power that we have to bring about now, is that the nursing profession is beautiful. We are strategists. We are educators. We are researchers. And we are more than just doers. What do you say, Sarah?
I completely agree. I know that nurses hold such a special place within the healthcare space, and podcasts like this, conversations like this that go beyond the policies and procedures that are very necessary, but really focus on the individual. I feel that is the next step in ensuring that we secure the next generation of healthcare providers to stay in the profession, by pouring into them, showing them that it's possible, how to do it, and ways to do it, so that they can nurture themselves and continue to thrive within the profession, and they don't have to leave. So, yeah.
It's a beautiful conversation, you know? A lot of emotional topics, a lot of real life stories, because we all share our deepest insights, right? This type of conversations really make us reflect. And in every single conversation, I gain a new awareness, you know? It's just like, whoa, I didn't see this in this light. And this is my curiosity. I'm really happy for myself that this curiosity is there, that I don't accept anything as value. I would just ask, okay, tell me more. I can understand. Especially when I don't understand, I should ask more.
Yes, and that's okay.
And that's okay. Curiosity is the one super skill that is not about the answers that you get, it's about the questions you ask.
Absolutely.
But for us to be able to ask the right questions, we need to be able to pause, to be conscious, to be fully present. To check in with ourselves, make sure we are aligned. So thank you, Sarah, for this conversation. It's another powerful discussion, and I'm sure many nurses, caregivers, healers out there are gonna benefit from having this kind of space that will help them pause, reflect, ask that question, and perhaps share with us your reflections, share with us your feedback, so we know how we can evolve more. What other topics you would like to see in this space? How we can show up more authentically, removing that mask of a superhero, because we still wear it every now and then. Just because this is called From Hero to Human, it doesn't mean that the mask is not behind the chair. So let's be real, let's be honest, let's be human. Till next time.